So first up for Module 2 is exploring variable types. So why is this important? Well, variable types will tell us what we can and can't do to our data. This will subsequently change the kind of analysis we can do for our variables. In other words, variable type is critical because it will completely determine the type of univariate analysis we can perform. Now, in terms of variable type, there are two distinct categories: categorical variables and continuous variables. There are more detailed and nuanced categories that people have come up with for different variable types. However, that is beyond the scope of this course and module. Separating variables into these two categories will serve as a good starting point. Now, what is a categorical variable? A categorical variable is simply a variable which contains a limited number of categories. In other words, they have a finite number of specific bins or categories. One example is a variable determining whether a patient has been admitted to the hospital. This would likely only have 3 categories. Yes, they have been admitted to the hospital. No, they have not, or it's unknown whether they've been admitted to the hospital. Another example would be cancer staging. This would be likely only to have a limited number of categories again. For instance, there may only be 4 categories: stage 1 cancer, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. What these two examples share in common is that they have a limited number of bins or categories in this case. On the other end are continuous variables. These are essentially numeric variables. Unlike categorical variables, these can take on an unlimited number of possible categories or values. Commonly, the range of values that they can take on is limited by 2 pre-specified values. One example is age. A data may have a person's age in years. This variable could likely take on any value as long as it's a realistic age, say between 0 years old and 125 years old. Another example is weight. A data set may record a person's weight as a number in pounds anywhere between 0 and 600. Although each has a different range of value, they could potentially take on an infinite number of values. Where the upper and lower limit is defined is arbitrary, or in many cases up to expert determination. In this case, usually the limit or range is determined based off what is realistically feasible.